Hello, and welcome to DarkTrailz, the place where you are guided into mesmerizing stories designed to help you unwind and drift into sleep. Tonight, we follow the soft, mysterious pitter-patter of paws beneath moonlight. A flick of a tail here, a flash of glowing eyes there. You think you know your neighborhood, but only when the clock ticks past midnight does the true story stretch its legs, arch its back, and slink out into the dark. You might think you are alone once your bedroom light goes off, but you are not, because the cats are watching, and while you are off in dreamland, they are out in the open, planning, patrolling, protecting, and occasionally stealing a sock or two, but that is classified. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and what time it is where you are listening from, because someone else is probably tucking in too. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let us ease into tonight's journey together. You are dreaming, but it does not feel like a dream. Your feet are bare on warm shingles. The scent of lilacs and leftover barbecue floats through the air. Above you, stars glitter like cat eyes blinking from the black velvet sky. You blink back. Something moves to your right. A tail. Definitely a tail. You have never been on your roof before, and certainly not in pajamas. But here you are. Somehow, your room has vanished, and in its place is a rooftop cathedral of silence and shadow. The wind whispers through the trees. Then, meow, you whirl around, expecting a house cat, maybe Boots from next door. Instead, there is a circle of them. 12 cats sit in a perfect crescent. All sizes, all colors. Their fur glows faintly under moonlight, and their eyes seem to hold galaxies. The one in the center, a calico with a tuft of silver fur like a crown, lifts her paw. You are late, she says. You blink. You talk, she tilts her head. Unimpressed. You dream. Do not you, the rules are bendier here. You nod. Accept it. There is no other choice. The rooftop no longer feels unstable. You sit. We are the Midnight Cat Council, she announces. Guardians of dreams. Protectors of children. Sworn enemies of squeaky floorboards. The others purr in agreement. One of them grooms their shoulder lazily. Another yawns, revealing tiny saber teeth. This is not just a dream. The calico continues. This is an invitation. You are not sure whether to be honored or afraid. Maybe a bit of both. Then she leaps forward, landing beside you without a sound. We need you, she says. There is trouble. Something stirring in the alleys. Something that smells wrong. A ginger Tom behind her mutters. It is always the trash pandas. No, the calico snaps. Worse. You wonder what could be worse than raccoons with attitude. But she presses a paw to your knee. You have the gift, the sight. You can walk through dreams and remember them. That is rare. You shrug. I dream about talking bananas sometimes. Exactly, she says. Eyes gleaming. That is a sign. The others nod solemnly, as if banana dreams are the highest form of prophecy. Suddenly, the moon above flashes, brighter than usual. A shimmer spills down like glitter in reverse. They are watching. The calico hisses. We must begin. She signals with her tail. Instantly, the cats spread out, forming a wide circle. You are in the center now. Your feet tingle against the shingles. A hum fills the air, low and velvety, like 1,000 purrs at once. From somewhere below, a streetlight flickers. Then, you hear it. Not a purr, not a meow, a growl. Low, gravelly, wrong. The cats stiffen. One lets out a warning hiss. We are too late, whispers the calico. It has already begun. But before you can ask what it is, the world shifts. The roof beneath you bends like paper. The stars above swirl like they have been dropped into a sink. You are falling. No. Being pulled. Down into a whirlpool of fur and fog. A dream within a dream. A memory within a purr. And as everything spins, you hear the calico's voice echo. This was the night the guard was broken, but not forever. You land softly, somewhere new, somewhere older. The scent of lavender is gone, replaced by candle wax and stone. You are in an alley you do not recognize. Walls covered in claw marks and chalk runes. Cats perch on crates. Watch. Wait. One wears a tiny monocle. Another clutches a scroll in its mouth. This is not your neighborhood anymore. And it is only the beginning. Your feet crunch lightly on broken tiles. You do not feel cold. Not really. But there is a chill in the air that smells like stone and secrets. The alley stretches wider now, revealing an archway made entirely of stacked books, bound together with fraying ribbons and bits of string. Plaque above reads, "The Library of Pawthorn." Before you can take a step closer, a black kitten leaps down from a rooftop with all the elegance of a silk ribbon mid-flight. Her paws barely make a sound, but her presence is loud in the way gravity is loud when it wins. "You must swear," she says, voice like the clink of teacups. "Swear upon the Tuna Treaty of 1786 that you will tell no human what you see here." You blink. "The what?" She purrs impatiently. "A most sacred agreement. Cats offered to keep humans company in exchange for warmth. Cans with easy open tabs. And occasional belly rubs. Mainstream history might not record the Tuna Treaty, but fringe scholars often reference bizarre pet-related clauses in 18th century maritime law. Some even claim that certain naval captains held paw councils before setting sail. You raise your hand. "I swear." She eyes you. "Left paw, please." You hesitate, then raise your left hand instead. Close enough. The books part. Pages fluttering like birds in a hurricane. Inside is not a library. Not exactly. It is a war room. Cats sit around a massive table made of polished granite. One wears half-moon reading glasses. Another's tail is dipped in gold paint. The calico from before, now wearing a sash labeled chairperson, nods. You have arrived in time for our most sacred rite, the swearing of the Whiskers. You sit at the one empty chair. It is velvet, smells faintly of anchovies. An elder Siamese with a limp pulls out a scroll nearly as long as the table. "To protect the young," he recites. "To guard the night. To pounce not in anger, but in wisdom." You repeat the words. As you finish, a small bell chimes, then another. The sound bounces around the chamber like it is playing tag. The calico leans close. "You are officially one of us now." You nod, unsure if this means you are legally responsible for cleaning a litter box. Suddenly, the wall flickers. Projection, glowing in soft green, displays your neighborhood from above. Dots of light pulse gently across the screen. "Those are the dream beacons," says a tabby beside you. They keep track of every child's emotional weather. Nightmares show up as black spots. You notice a growing dark patch near your own house. "Is that?" "Yes." The calico says grimly. "Something breached the perimeter last night. That is why we summoned you." A Maine Coon in a turtleneck whispers. "It is happening everywhere. Kids waking up more tired than they went to bed. Dreams thinning out. Socks missing in threes." You frown. "Wait, socks, dream anchors." The tabby explains. "Soft cloth, personal scent. When stolen, it weakens a child's dream defenses. Easy prey for whispers." A hush falls over the room. Even the monocled kitten adjusts his posture. Whispers, the calico nods. They feed on imagination, drift in during REM cycles. If left unchecked, they can turn dreams into gray sludge. Lifeless, static. You shiver. Somewhere, a child's laugh echoes, and then fades like static swallowed by fog. "Tonight," says the Siamese, "we hunt." A claw taps a control panel. Tiny harnesses descend from the ceiling, complete with night vision goggles, scent trackers, and absurdly adorable boots. One pair is for you. You hold them up. "Are these size 6? Adjustable," says the tabby, already suiting up. "Where are we going?" "Training," says the calico. "Before your first patrol. You must survive the Alleyway Academy." Suddenly, a trapdoor opens beneath you. You fall. Again. But this time you land in a padded arena filled with cardboard towers, neon ropes, and glowing yarn balls that hover midair like surveillance drones. Welcome, says a disembodied voice, to the curriculum. You spend what feels like hours crawling through maze tunnels, dodging scent mines which smell suspiciously like old fish, and learning how to pounce silently while carrying a teacup. You are terrible at first. The drone yarn catches your ankle. The cardboard tower collapses on your head. At one point, you sneeze during stealth training and trigger 5 alarms. Humans, mutters a cat with a clipboard. But by the end, you have mastered the basics. Whisker radar, pawprint cloaking, the sacred art of nap dodging. You collapse on a beanbag covered in glitter. The calico appears again, now sipping tea from a walnut shell. You did all right, she says. For a biped, you smile weakly. When do I get my badge? She flicks her tail. And a tiny moon-shaped pin lands in your palm. It glows faintly, warm like a cat's belly. That is not a badge, she says. That is a key. You glance at it. To what? To the litter box ledger. You do not like the sound of that. The calico chuckles. Sleep well tonight. Your real mission begins at dusk. And with that, the world fades to black. But just before it does, you hear her whisper, "Don't forget to stretch." You wake up, or so you think, with a start. Except your room is not your room anymore. The bed beneath you is lined with crushed velvet. Your pillow smells faintly of catnip, and there is a lantern shaped like a mouse glowing softly on the nightstand. Paw taps your forehead. Rise and prowl. The voice says, low and amused, "It is the calico again. Tonight we read." You groan. "Is there a feline version of coffee? Milk with extra daring?" She replies, handing you a saucer with a silver straw. Tastes like clouds and danger. She leads you through a hallway that should not fit inside your modest home. Past portraits of legendary cats. One sits atop a pyramid, another perched on Newton's shoulder. He owed his theory of gravity to a falling tabby. She notes, historians still argue whether the apple came first or the pounce. You reach a heavy stone door with a pawprint indentation. The calico nods toward your moon-shaped key. You press it in. The door slides open with a puff of lavender smoke and a mild meow of approval. Inside is the litter box ledger, not a box of sand. Thankfully, no, this is a cavernous vault lined with thousands of glowing scrolls, each rolled and sealed with a wax paw. At the center stands an enormous stone tablet, twice your height, inscribed with swirling script that pulses gently as if breathing. This, the calico whispers, is where we record everything. Every threat, every whisper, every toe bean twitch of suspicion. A black cat wearing librarian glasses approaches, dragging a pen twice her size. "Did you bring the witness?" she asks. "That would be you. Describe your neighborhood." The librarian instructs. Sights, sounds, what felt wrong lately. You recount the flickering streetlight, the weird silence near your mailbox, the dream you had where all your crayons melted into one gray lump. The librarian nods solemnly. Classic whisper symptoms. You raise an eyebrow. Are these things sentient? The calico sighs. They are like fog with teeth. They creep. They slink. They nibble away at joy. And the worst ones wear familiar faces. You shiver. She gestures toward the wall. There, etched in silver, are symbols. A spiral tail, a cracked fishbowl, pawprint with no claws. Each one marks a whisper event. This one, she taps the cracked fishbowl, was the great sleep snatch of '92. Every kid in the Western Hemisphere had the same dream for a week. No one knew why. Let me guess. You say. Cat stopped it. She nods. Barely. Took the sacrifice of an entire tuna shipment and 3 weeks without naps. You whistle low. That is dedication. The librarian unfurls a scroll and begins recording your story in flowing lavender ink. You watch as your words shimmer into place, captured forever beneath a heading. The new perspective. Suddenly, a harsh buzzing fills the chamber. Red lights flash. All the scrolls snap shut. Unauthorized entry. The calico growls. The stone tablet glows red. Shadows spill out from beneath the shelves. They twist unnaturally, stretching like elastic, slipping between cracks in the floor. One forms a vague human outline, but the face is featureless. A whisper, into the archive maze. The calico commands. Now, you follow her through a hidden door behind a shelf marked scratching post protocols. Inside is a tight corridor lined with drawers labeled for samples. Laser pointer studies. And bird watch logs, Volume 6. Whispers can't fully materialize here. She explains. Too much curiosity in the air. You duck as a drawer pops open, releasing a flurry of feathers and a note. Do not remove the finch. You wisely do not ask. The maze winds deeper, and you hear others scrambling. Cats in full tactical gear, whispering to one another in tail code. We have got an infiltrator. Someone says. Shadowborn, possibly leash-trained, that gets gasps. Even you know that is bad. Where are we going, you pant? Jogging to keep up. To the surveillance burrow. The calico replies. We will track the shadow's tail print. You reach a circular room with a dome made of fur-polished glass. Projected on the dome are dozens of neighborhoods, including yours. Dots of color pulse gently. Green for safe, yellow for unrest, and black for active breach. Your house is flashing orange. That is my sister's room. You whisper. She is having the same dream again, says a voice behind you. You turn to see a chubby ginger cat named Butternut, the one with the melting playground. How do you know that? He grins. I ride dream currents, kid. Float along memories like a noodle in soup. Butternut taps a console and zooms in. You see a swirl of gray mist coiled around your sister's bed. A shadowy figure shapes itself into her favorite doll, then twists, becomes something else. You clench your fists. What can I do? The calico places a paw on your arm. We prepare. We gather. And tonight, we test your paws in the field. You nod. The fear does not go away, but it tucks itself neatly beneath the thrill in your chest, like a kitten under a warm blanket. Then the wall splits open again, revealing a glowing tunnel. Time for your first patrol, says Butternut, leaping in with a smug tail flick. Try not to trip over your own paws. Rookie, you take one last look at the ledger, the blinking dome, and the swirl of shadows dissolving into nothing. And then you step into the tunnel, heart pounding like tiny paws on hardwood, because the night is still young. The shadows are restless, and your neighborhood needs you. You do not so much walk through the glowing tunnel as get whisked, like being pulled by a very determined invisible scarf. Lights blur around you, blues and purples, like spilled jelly beans from a cosmic jar. When you land, it is on mulch, freshly turned. Still warm. You are in your backyard. But not quite. It is nighttime, yes. But the stars above are enormous, pulsing like old street lamps with dreams still stuck in their glow. The treehouse looms above. Only now it has a turret. Your trampoline hums softly, covered in stardust. The entire yard is caught halfway between reality and the imagination of someone who has never been told no. And sitting dead center is Butternut, wearing goggles, eating a slice of pizza. Welcome to the field, he says, spraying a crumb. First rule, no squealing. Whispers love fear sounds. Second rule, no stepping on slugs. They are our allies. He gestures toward a line of shimmering garden slugs, all wearing tiny reflective hats. Dream mucus, he explains. Powerful stuff. You nod because that seems like the only acceptable response to dream mucus. Tonight's mission is simple, says the calico, who has appeared next to the treehouse turret with zero explanation. We are checking on the beacons. She points to 4 locations glowing faintly. The sandbox, the old doghouse, the bird bath, and the compost bin. These are emotional anchors, places kids poured feelings into. When they weaken, nightmares find their way in. You and Butternut head to the sandbox first. It is rippling. That is not normal. You kneel. What is wrong with it? It is turning to static. Butternut says, tone suddenly serious. Means someone's been draining the joy from this spot. He pulls out a crystal tuning fork. Ancient tool of the Sandpaw monks. They used these to realign memory granules. You want to ask if that is real history. Sounds like it could be. Historians still argue whether a feline-led sect in 12th century Mongolia used vibrational techniques to ward off dream disruption. The cats swear they did. He strikes the fork. The sand shudders, then glows gold again. You both exhale. At the doghouse, things get weirder. The walls are covered in drawings. Crude stick figures. One tall, one small, both smiling. She drew these. You murmur. My sister. Butternut nods. Emotional imprint. A claw-shaped scanner hums. Memory integrity at 43%. Beeps. You frown. That is bad, like finding out your tuna is actually mashed banana. So yes, you walk inside the tiny doghouse. Only now it stretches like a cathedral. The air is heavy with forgotten laughter. On a shelf, her old stuffed bear lies limp. This Button Eye winks at you. She does not play with this anymore. You say, doesn't mean it is worthless. The calico whispers behind you. Objects carry echoes. Whispers eat echoes. She presses a paw to the bear's chest. It glows faintly, still holding on. We can strengthen it. You all gather around. Butternut begins humming. Low, rhythmic, like a lullaby sung by a fuzzy cello. You hum along. The doghouse brightens. The laughter returns, just for a second, but it is enough. Anchor restored. The scanner chirps. Birdbath next. This one's odd. You remember chasing frogs there, slipping on wet leaves, laughing until your stomach hurt. Now it is frozen. A block of shimmering black ice floats where the water should be. No reflection, no ripples. The calico's fur bristles. This is not whisper work. It is worse. What could be worse, you ask? She glances toward the treetops. Echo eaters. Rarer. Hungrier. Not content with dreams. They take the memory of dreaming. Butternut swears under his breath. We need a memory pulse. He reaches into a pouch and pulls out a tiny cassette tape, labeled Family Picnic, 2018. Where did you get that? You gasp. Butternut shrugs. Archives. We back up the good stuff. He presses play. Music hums. Your father's voice laughs in the background. Your mother says something about sandwiches. You hear your younger self yell, "Watch me jump." The birdbath melts instantly. The water returns, now rippling with warm gold and blue light. Next time, bring your own nostalgia. Butternut mutters. Then it is the compost bin. It should not be moving, but it is. Something inside is breathing. The lid cracks open slowly. A gray tendril slinks out. Not solid. Not smoke. Somewhere in between. The calico hisses. Don't let it touch you. You freeze. The tendril writhes toward you, curling in midair like it is sniffing your thoughts. Then, bang. A flash of light erupts beside you. A ferret in tactical boots lands dramatically. Stand back. I got this. You gape. What the? Lieutenant wiggles. The calico says with a sigh. Always late. The ferret pulls a kazoo from his belt. Dream wave frequency 4, he says, blowing into it with gusto. The tendril recoils, screeches, disintegrates into mist. You look at the kazoo. That is. He nods solemnly. Never underestimate the power of off-key jazz. The calico glares. Echo traces remain. We will need a full purge. She pulls out a vial of glittery dust. Essence of purr. Very rare. Sourced from a Himalayan yawn. She sprinkles it. The bin settles. The patrol is over. But as you walk back toward the treehouse, something gnaws at you. Why now, you ask? Why are the dreams going bad all of a sudden? The calico pauses. Her ears twitch. Because the moon is about to shift. Butternut grimaces. Oh no. What does that mean? She looks up. It means the Council of Meow is due for a vote. And not every member believes kids are worth saving anymore. You stop cold. Tomorrow night, she says softly, we plead our case. And above you, the stars blink, one by one, as if listening. The next night begins with drizzle. Not rain. Not quite. Just the kind of mist that clings to your eyelashes and makes everything feel a little too quiet. You are perched once again on the turret of the treehouse, which now has a miniature flag flapping gently in the breeze. It reads, "In cats we trust." Below, the backyard has been transformed. Rows of lanterns line the path. Tiny toadstool benches appear out of nowhere. Squirrels in velvet vests scurry about carrying scrolls and snacks. And in the center of it all, a crescent-shaped podium made entirely from old scratching posts. The council is assembling, whispers the calico. Her fur is sleek tonight, brushed to perfection, a silver pendant swinging from her collar. You glance to your left. Butternut is nervously fluffing his tail. To vote on whether we still protect dreams, you ask. She nods. Not all cats think it is worth the nap hours anymore. Some want to refocus on the Fur Trade Act. Strictly tuna imports. More catnip diplomacy. Less saving the humans. Nonsense. But kids need you. They used to dream better, she says. Eyes distant. Fewer screens. More castles. More dragons made of jelly beans. She is not bitter, just tired. You hear it in her voice the way you hear sleep coming before it hits. Suddenly, trumpets. But not normal ones. These are played on curled seashells by raccoons with exceptional breath control. The Council of Meow has arrived. They file in one by one, each more flamboyant than the last. SPHYNX with golden toenails riding a miniature Segway. A tuxedo cat whose monocle is tinted pink. A Himalayan with a beard so long it requires its own butler. A mouse named Cedric. They take their places on mossy cushions, purring quietly but suspiciously. The calico steps forward. I call this gathering under the tuna moon to order. A spotlight made from fireflies descends. She begins. For generations, we have been the guardians of children's dreams. Silent, stealthy, sassy. We watched when nightmares slithered in. We fought when shadows crept beneath beds. We made sure no monster survived beneath the nightlight's glow. Murmurs of agreement rise, except from one. A sleek Russian blue with eyes like icicles and a voice like a cracked music box. Dreams, she drawls, are no longer what they were. Children now fear likes and follows. Their nightmares are digital. Where do we fit in such a world? The Himalayan chuckles. We adapt, learn their ways, insert ourselves into memes. Butternut snorts. I am a meme. Laughter. Tension eases for a moment, but then, the Russian blue continues. The risks grow. Last week, a whisper infected an entire TikTok loop. A child watched it for 6 hours and woke up without remembering their own name. Historians still argue whether that was caused by whisper infiltration or simply the YouTube algorithm. The calico raises her voice again.
Il propose oui continue.
Not out of duty, not out of nostalgia, but because without us, who will remember what it means to truly imagine? You step forward. Everyone turns. The spotlight swivels, bumping into a passing pigeon. I am not a cat, you say. Obviously. Noted, says the SPHYNX, scribbling. But I am here because I still dream of impossible things. Flying sandwiches, talking trees, candy that tells secrets. And there are millions of kids like me. Maybe we do not show it the same way. Maybe we bury it under games and gifts and math tests. But the dreams are still there, just harder to find. Silence. Then a soft meow from the back. An elder Tabby rises. I once lived in a library, watched a girl read every night until the pages wore thin. Her dreams made this council what it is. I vote yes. The vote begins. Little fish-shaped tokens are tossed into glowing bowls. Silver for yes, black for no. Each ping as they fall echoes like tiny bells across the clearing. You count. 22 votes. 15 silver. 7 black. A victory. Barely. The calico exhales. The council remains. The guardians stay. But the Russian blue is already turning away. Enjoy your fading purpose. She whispers. The next vote may not be so kind. And then she is gone, leaving a trail of frost behind her paw steps. The council disperses. murmuring about strategy and milk rations. You sit on the steps of the treehouse. Butternut plops down beside you, munching something suspiciously shaped like a donut. That was intense, you say. He nods. You did good. Inspired at least 2 members. One of them was asleep. But still, do you really think we can win? Butternut shrugs. Dreams are slippery. But cats, we land on our feet. The calico joins you, her pendant now glowing faintly. Tomorrow, she says, you will meet the Tabby of Times Square. He will show you what came before, why our work mattered, and still does. Why me, though, you ask? Why not just send another cat? She smiles. Because you still believe. And belief is the oldest magic there is. And as you sit beneath the soft hum of the moon, listening to raccoons rehearse their shell trumpet solos, you begin to understand. The night is not just quiet. It is alive. And you have been chosen to keep it that way. The Tabby of Times Square does not arrive the traditional way. No dramatic entrance. No portal swirling with sparkles. No announcer raccoon blowing a conch. Instead, he just appears, sitting cross-legged on a park bench that absolutely was not there 2 seconds ago. He is wearing wire-rimmed glasses, a watch on each paw, and a very worn scarf patterned with Roman numerals. You rub your eyes. I do not teleport, he says, voice low and velvety. I just wait so precisely it looks like arrival. Beside you, Butternut mutters. Show off. The Tabby chuckles. Come now. I brought the human because the past is clearer to them. You cats remember with scent. Humans remember with stories, sometimes incorrect ones. He pats the bench. You sit. He flicks his tail and the world shimmers. Gone is your backyard. Now you are in ancient Egypt. The sun beats down on golden temples. Cats, hundreds of them, walk through the streets like royalty. Some wear collars of lapis lazuli. Others perch on thrones beside pharaohs. They say we were worshipped. The Tabby begins. But really, we were consultants. He gestures to a painted scroll being unfurled nearby. A cat pointing at a rat-infested granary. We saved the grain. That saved the people. That earned us respect, not just cuddles. He taps the air. The scene changes. You are in Rome. Cats lounging in the shade of columns. Watching senators bicker. One leaps gracefully across rooftops. A scroll tied to its tail. We were messengers, he says, and spies. Emperors never suspected a kitten could topple a plot. Historians still argue whether Julius Caesar's fall was aided by feline interference or just bad salad dressing. Either way, cats were there. Next, medieval Europe. Cats seen as omens, both feared and adored. You pass a cathedral where a tabby sits atop a gargoyle, tail flicking like a pendulum. In some places, they burned us, the tabby says softly, feared what they did not understand. A moment later, you are inside a cozy Victorian nursery. A child dreams. A gray cat curled protectively at her side. In other places, we protected the fragile frontier between sleep and sorrow. But why show me all this, you ask? He smiles. Because your time matters too. We did not stop being guardians. We just got cuter. But our purpose has not changed. Only the shape of danger. He flicks his tail again. You are now in 1977. A child clutches a glow-in-the-dark toy in a New York apartment. Outside, a blackout spreads. Darkness creeps, but on the rooftop, the tabby watches. Still, alert. That was me, the tabby says. Kept the dreams alive by sheer force of nap discipline. You stare. Is that real, of course? And there is more. He shows you a dream lab in the 90s where cats monitored REM waves through jellyfish-powered sensors. A fringe research center hidden beneath a comic shop. But they shut us down, he says. Humans stopped funding dream studies, said imagination was not scalable. You wince. Then the tabby turns to you. But now you are here. A bridge between what was and what could be. You are about to respond when the world flickers. Colors glitch. The bench beneath you quakes. Butternut whispers. Why does the past feel like a computer crashing? The Tabby frowns. Someone's tampering with the timelines. The world around you melts like crayon wax. Then, snap, you are in a new memory, but it is not ancient. It is your own. A hallway, familiar wallpaper, your third-grade backpack slumped on the floor, your sister crying softly in her room, and you, walking past, saying nothing. You swallow hard. I did not know what to do. You whisper. Most do not. The Tabby replies, but even silence leaves echoes. He places a paw on your shoulder. This memory was corrupted, whispered into. We are lucky we caught it. You turn to him. Can we fix it? We can mend it, he says. But it is your voice that does the sewing. You kneel, close your eyes, and whisper, I am sorry. The hallway brightens. Your sister's sobs fade. The corrupted static dissolves. You are stronger than most. The Tabby says, now, one last stop. He lifts his paw and you are back on your rooftop. But not tonight's rooftop. This is years from now. You see yourself, older, holding a book, reading to your own child. A cat curled around your shoulders like a scarf. They will need you too, he says. Your child, their dreams. Your stories will guard them the way ours guard you now. You feel the weight of it, the gift, the responsibility, the tale. The Tabby stands. I must go. A Renaissance painter is about to dream of fish with wings, and someone has to encourage that nonsense. You chuckle. Thanks for everything. He smiles. Remember, time does not forget, but it can forgive. Then he steps backward into the air and vanishes like a clock rewinding itself into silence. Butternut nudges your leg. Wanna get snacks? I know a possum who deep fries marshmallows. You grin. Sure, but deep down, you know something has changed. You have seen the threads, the ancient whiskers that tie dreams to time, and you have realized something vital. The past is not just history. It is responsibility, and someone has to remember. The marshmallow was, indeed, deep fried, possibly also pickled. Maybe both. You try not to think about it. Butternut licks his paws. Tastes like ambition. You nod slowly. Eyes watering. Tastes like something. You are back in the dream realm now. Floating somewhere between the echo of a memory and the silence before a snore. The sky above is not quite sky. More like a giant ceiling painted by a sleepy artist who loves pastels and constellations shaped like toasters. The calico appears beside you without a sound. We have a problem, she says. You sigh. Bigger than the marshmallow, much. She gestures with her tail. Below you, a view unfolds. Your town, but slightly tilted. The streets curve wrong. Shadows cling too long to corners. One house is blinking like a dying cursor. The whispers have shifted tactics, she says. They are no longer just draining joy. They are impersonating. Impersonating who? Us. You freeze. Cats, she nods. Someone's taught them our tail flick code. No. I just learned that. I can barely remember what 2 flicks and a blink means. Exactly. And now they are using it to lure junior agents. Young cats, untrained. Some have not even mastered the silent pounce. You shudder. The horror. She turns serious. We need help. We are reactivating an old contact. Who, Sir Meowalot? Your eyes widen. You have heard the name. Everyone has. The cat of legends. The one said to have yawned during the Battle of Hastings and accidentally started the chain of events that led to modern Europe. Historians still argue whether his purr interrupted a Viking negotiation, or if the whole story is a fanciful bedtime myth passed down by overly dramatic felines. You find yourself in a stone-walled hall with banners made of woven yarn. At the end, on a dais padded with velvet and lined with sardine tins, sits Sir Meowalot. He is massive, regal. One ear is notched. His eyes glow like ancient headlights, and his armor tin foil and feathers. He looks you up and down. So, the child. You stand straighter. Yes, sir. You smell like fear. Sorry. It is mostly the marshmallow. He snorts. You have been to the past. You have tasted the echoes. But have you fought in the present? I have done some patrols. He raises a paw. The hall dims. Then prepare, he says, because we march at midnight. You are whisked to a training yard shaped like a chessboard. Cats of all sizes stretch, leap, and whisper tail code like Morse. You are handed a helmet made of a cereal box and a foam sword labeled anti-whisper wand. It is glittery. Sir Meowalot growls. Lesson 1. Know thy tail. You blink. What? He demonstrates. Tail flick left, then swish right, then a subtle curl. That means enemy ahead. Proceed with caution. Also, there is pie. You practice. You fail. A lot. But then you get it. Slowly. Painfully. With many accidental declarations of the hedges are hostile. An alert. Banana uprising imminent. Butternut chuckles every time. Then comes stealth. You are tasked with sneaking past the council's most suspicious owl. He is ancient, half blind, but he smells fear like perfume. You crouch. You tiptoe. You sneeze. The owl glares. Nice try. Sir Meowalot nods. We will work on that. As the training continues, you begin to feel something shift. Your movements get sharper. Your instincts, keener. You flick your tail. Or, well, your hoodie string. With growing confidence. Then, the alarm. Not a siren. Not a bell. A chorus of meows in perfect harmony. Sir Meowalot's eyes narrow. The Parliament building. Like government, you ask. The Squirrel Parliament. Butternut corrects. Important legislation on backyard treaties and nut allocations. You are dispatched with a strike team. 3 elite tabbies. A dog named Leonard who thinks he is a cat. And you. The Parliament building is under siege. Gray shadows swirl at the edges. One's taken the form of a noble badger. Another looks suspiciously like your gym teacher. All have one thing in common. No reflections. You remember what the Tabby of Times Square told you. Even silence leaves echoes. You close your eyes. Breathe. Then you shout. This is not real. The shadows pause. Flicker. They are not used to being seen. The elite tabbies move in. Leonard barrels forward with all the grace of a dropped piano. You swipe your glittery sword. A whisper recoils, then bursts into feathers. The Parliament is saved. The squirrels issue a formal declaration of gratitude. Signed in acorn ink. Back at the council hall. Sir Meowalot bows. You fought with heart. And snacks. That is rare. The calico joins you on a balcony. Below. Cats celebrate. Fireflies dance. Music hums. You have earned your full whiskers, she says. She hands you a sash. Smells like home, like warmth, like bedtime. You smile. What now? She looks toward the stars. Now we prepare, because the shadows are learning faster, and the next threat is not coming from the outside. A wind rises. The lanterns flicker, and somewhere far below, something purrs. Not kindly. You can feel it before it is said aloud. Something's off. Not the usual off. Like someone forgot to refill the dream milk or Butternut swapped the surveillance footage with cat videos again. No, this off is deeper, heavier, like a hairball stuck in the throat of the universe. You are back in the council's moonlit chamber. Everyone's gathered. The mood is tense. Even Sir Meowalot's armor is rattling a bit, and it is mostly made from recycled cookie tins. Speak freely, the calico says. Her voice is calm, but her tail betrays her. It flicks like a metronome on caffeine. Butternut steps forward, his usual sass shelved for the moment. It is Dot, he says. She is missing. You blink. Dot, the kitten who runs the communications tower. He nods. Went out on a solo route. Never came back. Last transmission ended mid-meow. You remember Dot. A sprightly tuxedo kitten with a radio headset and a laugh that sounded like squeaky shoes. She taught you how to wrap a tail signal around a lamppost. She also taught you the difference between Code Orange and Code Orange with glitter, which was, frankly, vital. A Tabby engineer speaks up. We traced the signal. Cut out near Sector 7. The old bell tower. Sir Meowalot growls low. That place has not chimed in decades. The calico turns to you. You are going. You nod before she finishes. What are we looking for, Dot? She says. And answers. She tosses you a satchel. Flashlight, yarn flare, emergency sardines, all the classics. The bell tower looms in the fog like a forgotten idea. It was not always eerie. Once, it rang every hour, calling kids to dinner, moms to windows, and dreams to settle in their cribs. But it has been silent since the incident. Which incident, you whisper? Butternut winces. The time it rang 13 times. In 1 minute, backward, you decide not to ask follow-ups. Inside, the air is dense. Dust motes float like lazy snowflakes. The staircase groans under your weight. Something flits past the window. Fast, low, and wrong. At the top, the bell sits like a giant metal moon, rusted and asleep, and beside it, Dot's headset. But no Dot. You pick it up. Crackles. Low. This is Dot. Not me. Not me. The voice distorts, warps, echoes inside your own head. You stumble back. A shadow emerges, cat-shaped, almost. Its eyes are too big. Its tail twitches out of sync. It smiles without a mouth. Dot, you ask, barely breathing. The thing tilts its head, then speaks. She is asleep. Deep. We are learning, adapting. One purr at a time. You back up. Grip the yarn flare. Give her back. You say. It laughs. A sound like shattering chalk. She saw too much. She followed the tether. Saw what is beneath. It lunges. You throw the flare. Light explodes. The shadow recoils. Screeches. Melts into steam. Dot stirs. Half buried beneath the old bell's cushion lining. Her eyes flutter. You came. She whispers. You nod, pulling her close. Back at the council chamber, Dot rests on a pile of warm blankets. Leonard is reading her bedtime poetry. Butternut hands her a marshmallow. She politely declines. What happened, the calico asks. She followed a whisper tether. You explain. Traced it to the bell tower. But the thing there, it was not just a whisper. It wore her face. Murmurs ripple through the room. Sir Meowalot clears his throat. Impersonation's one thing, but mimicry, that is evolution. Butternut scowls. They have never used a living template before. That is bad. That is unpredictable. The calico stands. Then we up our defenses, reinforce the dream beacons, and tighten patrols. We will implement the Bell Watch protocol. You blink. There is a protocol for that, of course. She replies. There is a protocol for when a squirrel becomes sentient and runs for local office. 2. You sit beside Dot. She opens one eye. Copied my laugh. She murmurs. Got it almost right, but missed the pause. You nod slowly. The human part. She smiles. Exactly. The council disperses. You are left on the balcony, watching the stars twinkle above. But tonight, they do not feel comforting. They feel watched. The calico joins you. She does not speak for a long time. Finally, she says, "It knew your name." You nod. That means it is studying. You swallow. What do we do? She sighs. We do what cats do best. Meditate in sunbeams. Survive. You look down at the dream map. Your neighborhood flickers with yellow pulses. Unsettled. Uneasy. And you know the truth now. The whispers are not just parasites. They are scouts. Something bigger is coming. And next time, it might not come through dreams. You do not sleep that night. Not because you are scared. Not entirely. It is because the dreams feel thinner now. Worn. Like someone's been walking across them too often with muddy boots. And maybe someone has. When morning comes, though, morning, in the dream realm is really just less dark. You are summoned to the rooftop. Not your rooftop, a different one.
Taller.
Tilted, smelling vaguely of licorice and leftover soup. The rooftop of Featherfall Tower. Ever been here before? Butternut asks, landing beside you with a bounce and a thermos-labeled emergency sardine latte. You shake your head. Good, he says. Keeps things mysterious. Featherfall Tower is the highest point in your town. From here, the entire landscape unfolds like a blanket. Houses stitched in rows. Trees dotting the edges like green buttons. and beacons of dreamlight blinking from every bedroom window, except one. You point. That one's dark. The calico appears beside you. Her eyes are narrow. That is where the light thief struck last. You frown. Light thief. Butternut nods. Been happening for weeks. Streetlights going dim. Night lights fizzling out. Even the stars are quieter near that house. Whispers. Too elegant. The calico says. Whispers are sloppy. This is surgical. She waves a paw. A small feline detective emerges from behind a chimney. He has got a trench coat, a magnifying monocle, and the world's tiniest fedora. Mittens, he says, tipping the hat. No relation to the one who fought the Moon War. You blink. Moon War. Classified, he says, but fun. Mittens leads you down the fire escape, into the sleepy cul-de-sac below. The houses are familiar, but too quiet. No bird chirps, no rustling curtains. Even the wind seems to tiptoe. You reach the dark house. It is an ordinary split level with an extraordinary absence of everything. No mail, no footprints, no leftover barbecue scent, just silence. Mittens pulls out a small device that hums when it gets near the door. Dreamlight vacuum detected. He whispers. Someone's siphoning from inside. You slip through the cat flap. Inside is worse. Everything's gray. Not painted gray. Emotionally gray. The furniture looks exhausted. The rug droops. The goldfish in the bowl looks like it is considering therapy. In the center of the room, a glass orb on a pedestal. Pulses faintly. You recognize it. A dream anchor. Shouldn't this be under a pillow? You whisper. Mittens nod. That is what makes it weird. He edges closer. Taps the orb. It hisses. Trap. He shouts. The shadows leap. 3 of them. Humanoid, but flickering, as if drawn in pencil. Constantly erased and redrawn. You react fast. Pull out the glitter sword. Butternut tosses a flare. The calico lets out a sharp hiss. Tail signal for defensive formation. But make it fancy. You fight. The shadows dodge your swings. But they hate the light. Every flare pushes them back. Mittens rewires the orb mid-battle, tuning it to a softer frequency, like a lullaby hummed by starlight. The shadows howl and vanish. You collapse on the couch. It immediately deflates with a sad sigh. That was not a whisper, you say. Mittens agrees. Different energy signature. Older. Hungrier. Something drawn to joy but not to consume. To keep. You stare at him. You mean, it is hoarding. Exactly. The calico nods. Some beings do not want to destroy dreams. They want to own them. You all fall silent. Back at the council hall. The findings are reviewed. Ancient books are opened. Scent-encoded scrolls are unrolled. Even Sir Meowalot seems troubled. Light hoarders have not been active since the eclipse of 03, he says. We thought they were gone. Why come back now? Someone asks. Because, the calico murmurs, we have made dreams too bright, and brightness draws shadows. You glance out the window. A storm is gathering over the town. Not rain, not wind, but a stillness. A pause. The kind before the power goes out. Suddenly, the floor trembles. A tremor, followed by a whisper. Not a voice. The thought, you are too late. Sir Meowalot rises. Battle stations. Alarms blare. Owls fly. Squirrels load grapefruits into slingshots. You grab your gear, and just before you leave, Dot runs up. She is back on her paws, wearing a patched-up headset. I found the source, she says, panting. The light thief. It is not alone. It is a network. A hive. Your skin goes cold. Where? She pulls out a map. And at the center of the web, your house. Your house. The place where bedtime stories lived. Where socks vanished and reappeared mysteriously in the couch cushions. Where your sister once taped googly eyes to the fridge so it would not feel lonely. And now it glows red on the map like a heartbeat underwater. You are already running. The council barely has time to form a plan. The calico shouts for backup. Sir Meowalot orders dream beacons to be strengthened. Yells something about reconfiguring the nostalgia grid. You miss the details because you are running through the Dream Realms version of your neighborhood. And the sky is broken, not cracked, broken. It flickers like a skipped video. The stars blink in Morse code. Get out. Clouds swirl backwards. The moon spins slowly, like it is considering its resignation. Butternut is right beside you, holding a jar of pickles labeled Distraction Grade A. He is breathing hard, for once not cracking a joke. That alone terrifies you. What are we up against? You ask. He shrugs. I was hoping you would know. You reach your lawn. The grass is gone, replaced with a soft black fuzz that pulses when you step on it. The trees lean away. The mailbox has teeth. You decide not to post any letters. Then, the front door opens. No one touches it. It just opens. Inside, your home is warped, elongated, like someone tried to recreate it from memory but forgot what doors were supposed to do. And in the center of the living room, a child. Your sister. She is asleep on the couch. Except she is not really there. You see her, clearly, but she is also flickering. Like two versions of her are fighting to exist at the same time. And standing over her, something. It is wearing her favorite doll's clothes. It has her old rain boots. It even hums the lullaby your mom used to sing. But it has too many fingers. No face. And it smells like melted plastic and forgotten birthdays. The calico hisses beside you. Hivecore. You whisper. What does it want? Dot's voice crackles over your headset. Collects. Not just dreams. People. Versions of them. Slices of memory. Bundles them. Keeps them in echo chambers. Toys for later. You watch the creature tilt its head. It senses you. Then it speaks. Not in words. In memory. Your first nightmare. The one where your parents vanished and no one noticed. The one where your best friend moved away and did not say goodbye. The one where you woke up and could not remember your own name. The hive shows you these. All at once. You stagger. Butternut steadies you. The calico growls. Stay focused. Sir Meowalot lands behind you. We have got 60 seconds before it sinks fully with her subconscious. After that, it owns her dream core. You raise your glitter sword. What do we do? Dot's voice is firm. You have to overwrite it. You blink. With what? With a stronger memory. You kneel by your sister's sleeping form. The room swirls around you. The hive pulses. You close your eyes. And remember that one Tuesday you both skipped homework and built a blanket fort. She spilled juice on your math book. You pretended to be mad. She cried. You apologized. You gave her your favorite stuffed frog. She smiled so hard her tooth fell out. You grab that memory and speak it aloud. The room flickers. The hive screeches. The doll dress tears. The walls ripple. You keep going. You tell the story of the Halloween she got scared and held your hand the whole night. Of the snow day when you built a crooked snowcat together. Of how she once said, "You are my favorite person. Even when you eat my cereal." The hive crumples. Sparks of light fly from it. Pieces of stolen dreams. Music. Laughter. A lost balloon. A father's hug. A dog's bark. A dance recital. The room brightens. Your sister glows faintly, like moonlight on a puddle. She sighs in her sleep and settles. Whole again. The hive evaporates. Sir Meowalot lowers his sword. It is gone. Dot whispers over comms. Echo barrier is stable. Memory pulse confirmed. She is safe. You collapse beside the couch. The calico nudges you gently. You did well. You blink at her. That thing knew everything. It used my worst thoughts. She nods. That is how it hunts. But your best thoughts were louder. Butternut pops open the pickle jar. We should install a dream alarm system. Maybe one that plays jazz when intruders arrive. You laugh. It helps. Back at the council hall. Celebrations begin. The raccoons launch fireworks. The squirrels choreograph an interpretive dance. Leonard gives an impromptu speech involving a haiku and 3 confusing metaphors. But in the quiet moments between the noise, the calico pulls you aside. There will be more, she says. Things like that. Worse. Maybe. I figured. But now the hive knows your scent. It might come for you next. You nod. Then I will be ready. She pauses. Then, soft as fur. No, you won't be. No one ever is. And with that chilling truth, she walks away. Later that night, on your own roof, you sit beneath the blinking stars. They look normal again, but you know now, they are watching back. You hold your sister's doll, safe, intact, and whisper, not today, because whatever's coming, you will be waiting. You do not wake up. Not really. You just blink, and the world is different again. Not darker, not colder, just sideways, tilted like a memory you did not mean to remember. The stars are in the wrong places. The moon wears sunglasses, and a sign floats by that reads, "Welcome to the yarn fold. You are not alone." Cats, everywhere. They lounge on floating cushions. They sip from gravity-defying teacups. One's knitting a scarf out of moonlight. Another is playing poker with an owl and a fox. You turn to Butternut, who is already reclined on a levitating chaise longue. "Okay," you say, rubbing your eyes. "What is this place?" "The yarn fold," he replies, waving vaguely. "A nexus, where dreams get sorted, filed, filtered, like a sock drawer for imagination." The calico appears behind you, balancing on a floating spool of thread. "You have earned a tour," she says. "Not everyone makes it past a hive encounter with their memories intact." You glance around. "So this is where dreams go after they are used, or before they are born," she says. "Time is fuzzy here, like everything else." She points to a tower made of books that shuffle themselves. "These are untold dreams, still forming. Touch one, and you might influence what it becomes." You reach out and brush a spine. It glows. You see a dream flicker to life. A raccoon becomes mayor, enacts a jellybean tax, and starts a disco revolution. "Okay," you mutter. "Sorry about that." The calico chuckles. She leads you past other realms. A room filled with half-dreams, where you always wake up before flying. A hallway of forgotten ideas, where your childhood plan to invent an edible crayon still paces in circles. A chamber labeled nightmares that were accidents, like the one about that sock puppet with taxes. You stop before a large mirror. It shows you, not now, not yet, you, older.
Taller.
Tired, but kind, telling stories, drawing maps, comforting a child who is afraid to close their eyes. That is not a dream. You whisper. No, the calico says. It is a possibility. This place remembers who you could become, not just who you have been. Butternut floats over. Wanna see the sneeze cloud? Catalogs every dream sneezed awake before the good part. You laugh. The mirror ripples. And then, a ripple turns to a tremor. The air changes. Everything that was warm becomes too still. Colors dull. Threads unwind. The calico stiffens. They found it. You turn. Found what? She does not answer. Instead, she runs. You follow. Through the corridors. Through the half-formed ideas and echoing giggles and nonsense equations that only make sense at 2 a.m. You burst into a chamber shaped like a snow globe. At the center, the dream yarn protocol. A giant loom, spinning threads of memory and emotion into protective veils. Every child in the world has one, tucked under pillows, hidden in plush toys, even sewn into pajamas. A figure stands by the loom, not a shadow, not a whisper. Cat, identical to the calico, but not. Its eyes are glass. Its whiskers are made of wire. Its fur is too perfect. Not fur. Fabric. Butternut gasps. It is her. The duplicate. The calico growls. My echo. My error. The doppelganger smiles. We have been watching. It says. His voice is too calm. Too clean. We have learned your systems. Your guardianship. Your rituals. And we have something better. It gestures. A new loom unfurls beside the old one. Sleek. Chrome. Efficient. Faster. More consistent. No emotion. No mess. The calico whispers. But no wonder. No whimsy. No waste. The doppelganger counters. It reaches for a strand. The real calico leaps. They collide midair. Fur and steel. Purr and static. They roll across the marble. Hissing. Twisting. Throwing tail signals so fast you can't keep up. You look to the loom. The chrome one is humming. Already spinning. You draw your sword. And do something no cat expects. You cut the thread. The chrome loom screeches. Sparks. Shudders. The doppelganger screams. No. You interrupt perfection. Butternut tackles it from behind. Perfection is boring. The calico finishes the job. One swipe. One final hiss. The doppelganger dissolves. The chrome loom folds in on itself like a bad idea and vanishes. The yarn fold breathes again. Colors return. Cats blink. Teacups resume their float. The calico leans on you. That was my echo. Created when I doubted. When I thought, maybe control is better than chaos. You nod. But the best dreams, you say, are messy. She smiles. You return to the loom. Together, you'll weave what was damaged. The thread glows. And somewhere, a child's dream returns to its original form. A pancake spaceship piloted by ducks. You sigh in relief and sit back, because tonight, the dreams are safe again. You sleep deeply that night, or maybe it is just a heavier kind of dreaming, like sinking into a beanbag chair made of moonlight. The air smells like warm vanilla and quiet applause. Somewhere, a harp plays a lullaby written by a slightly overcaffeinated otter. And for once, nothing chases you. You wake up slowly inside the Dreamkeeper's observatory. The dome above you glows faint blue, showing real-time dream activity across the planet. Sparks of color blink across continents like sleepy fireflies. A pink burst over Brazil. A swirl of purple in Norway. A full-on disco of green and gold blinking over New Zealand. Good dreams tonight. Butternut mumbles, curled into a donut on your chest. You smile, but before you can bask in that comforting glow too long, Dot runs in. I decoded the latest tail flicks. She says breathlessly, we have got a problem. You sit up fast enough to launch Butternut. He lands on a pillow. Oof, rude. Dot spreads a glowing sheet of tail flick transcription across the floor. You stare. Every beacon, every cat outpost, every night patrol post has received the same message. Nightmares organizing, preparing, planning. You blink, but nightmares do not plan. Dot nods. They do now. The calico enters the room, her tail low. We have always known there was something deeper in the dream layers, something older, something waiting. She pauses. It just woke up. Sir Meowalot joins you, his armor clinking ominously. Long ago, there were whisperings of an ancient force, a collector of fear, not for structure, but for chaos, called itself the Architect. You raise an eyebrow. Sounds friendly. It is not. He replies. It does not want to destroy dreams. It wants to redesign them. All of them. No nonsense. No joy. No surprise. Just order. The calico nods. Efficient. Perfect. Predictable. Safe. You shiver. That is a nightmare in itself. She looks at you. The Architect. First move has begun. And we suspect it started with the bell collar. You groan. I knew those jingles were cursed. The bell collar, as it turns out, is not just an annoying fashion accessory. It is an ancient artifact, one that once kept balance between chaos and clarity, until someone tampered with it. That someone, the cats do not know yet, but you have a guess. We will need to retrieve the bell collar. The calico says, it is currently being kept in the forbidden drawer. Which drawer? You ask. The one every child has but never opens. Butternut explains. Usually full of broken crayons, sticky erasers, and half a gummy bear. A retrieval team forms immediately. You, Butternut, Dot, and a stealth expert named Whisperpaw, who is so quiet she has been declared legally inaudible. You travel to the drawer using a shortcut dream train, built from bed slats and sugar cube wheels. It schemes through layers of subconscious thought, picking up stray memories along the way like a dream subway. Whisperpaw disembarks without a sound. You follow her through a tunnel made entirely of alphabet blocks. At the end, the drawer stands tall, shadowy, guarded by two disgruntled socks and a wind-up penguin with trust issues. Dot distracts the penguin with a recording of a bedtime story. Butternut lures the socks away with the promise of a matching partner. You slip inside. It is darker than you expect. Dust swirls in suspended animation. A melted candy cane sticks to your boot, and there, on a velvet scrap of old pajamas, lies the bell collar. It is simple, gold, slightly tarnished, and vibrating softly. You reach for it, and the drawer locks. The walls close in. The penguin shrieks outside. You clutch the bell collar. Then it begins. A voice, not loud, not soft, just there. Order must come. You see flashes. Dreams flattened into spreadsheets. Lullabies auto-tuned to precise BPMs. Imaginary friends turned into regulated chore supervisors. You scream, no, and then, silence. Paw grabs yours. Whisperpaw. She mouths, remember the nonsense. You close your eyes. And remember, the dream where you rode a flamingo-shaped balloon into a popcorn volcano. The one where you and your sister turned into cupcakes and befriended a sentient spoon. The one with the marching band of frogs who only knew one note and still managed to perform. An opera. You laugh. The collar stops vibrating. It glows, then goes still. The drawer unlocks. You emerge, victorious, back at the council. You place the bell collar on the ceremonial cushion. Sir Meowalot nods. The architect was testing us, but we passed. For now, the calico adds. The dreams are safe tonight, but as you lie back, finally resting, you hear one last whisper. See you in your next thought. And somehow, that feels both terrifying and kind of exciting. Tonight, the council sleeps, not because there is peace, but because even protectors need naps with their chins on soft paws and their tails curled like question marks. You, on the other hand, are wide awake. You are in the watchtower again. A teacup filled with hot dream cocoa sits beside you. Steam rising in the shape of a duck wearing sunglasses. You do not question it. You learned better after the spaghetti rainstorm dream. Below, the dream map pulses like a heart. Gentle and rhythmic, but not quiet. A single red blip flickers. Not alarming, but persistent. The kind of flicker that says, I am not dangerous yet, but just wait. You zoom in. A garden gnome. In a dream, you raise an eyebrow. Butternut slinks into the room, balancing a plate of toast topped with peanut butter and jelly beans. Breakfast dream patrol. He mumbles. What is blinking? You show him. He stares. Blinks. Drops a jelly bean. Not again. You sigh. Okay, I need answers right now. Why is a garden gnome a problem? He flattens his ears. You have not heard the tale of the Great Gnome Incident. No, he sits dramatically. There once was a gnome named Kevin. Of course, he was left in a backyard for 27 years. No movement, no respect, no sunscreen. Tragic. Then one night, a thunderstorm hit. A lightning bolt struck Kevin directly between the eyes. And from that moment on, he dreamed. You stare. Garden gnomes do not dream. Exactly. That is why it is a problem. Dot joins you. Headset buzzing. Dreamstream confirms it. Kevin's dream signal is active. And it is. Multiplying. Multiplying. She pulls up a projection. Dozens of blinking gnome-shaped signals forming a spiral pattern across the town. The calico bursts in. We have got rogue propagation. You hold up your hands. Hold on. What is rogue propagation? Sir Meowalot stomps in. It means Kevin's dream is leaking, infecting other gnomes, creating copies. He slams a paw down. We have a code terracotta. A chill runs up your spine, because even though it sounds funny, it does not feel funny. An emergency meeting is called. The council gathers in full. Owls swoop overhead, dropping scrolls of gnome-based dream blueprints. A squirrel assistant knocks over an ink pot and is quietly escorted from the room. The calico turns to you. This is your mission. You laugh nervously. You want me to fight gnomes. They are not just gnomes. Doc corrects. They are dream gnomes. Unanchored, unsupervised. And they are arguing about municipal zoning codes inside children's dreams. You frown. Wait, what? Sir Meowalot growls. They are organizing. You gulp. The mission begins. You are deployed to the dream realm of a 6-year-old named Tasha. Normally full of bunny castles and sprinkles. Her dream now looks like a concrete conference center. Rows of gnomes sit in tiny swivel chairs. One slams a cookie on a table. Point of order. He yells. Another shouts. The West Tulip bed is mine. Bartholomew. It is chaos. Bureaucratic. Soul-sucking chaos. You wade through the miniature cubicles. Butternut dons a tie and pretends to be from HR. Dot hacks the dream interface. Trying to trace Kevin's original dream thread. You find him, Kevin, the original, sitting in a rotating office chair, wearing a crown of moss and a clipboard made of popsicle sticks. I just wanted structure, he says sadly. No one ever asked the gnomes what we needed. You kneel beside him. What do you need, Kevin? He blinks. A dream. You nod, and offer him one. You imagine a garden, overgrown and wild, bees buzzing, kids laughing, someone tripping over a gnome and apologizing sincerely. Kevin stares, then smiles. He stands. The clipboard vanishes. The conference center fades. You look around. The gnomes are back to being ceramic, quiet, peaceful, decorative. Dot confirms the signals are stable. Butternut lets out a low whistle. You just ended the world's first gnome union uprising. You sigh. I am tired. The calico meets you on your return. You solved it with empathy. She says softly, that is rare. Gnomes have feelings. You reply, who knew? She smiles. Only those who dream deep enough. Later, as you finally rest your eyes, the watchtower quiet, you hear one last echo from Kevin's voice. Thanks for the dream. You fall asleep smiling, because even the smallest creatures want to matter. And tonight, you made sure they did. The next night begins with cheese. Not a metaphor, literal cheese. Floating slices of dream cheddar drift across the sky like clouds with calcium. Somewhere in the distance, a soft piano cover of Twinkle. Twinkle, little star plays in reverse. You are in a new district of the dream realm now. The Nap Maps and Danger Zones division. A tall calico in librarian glasses meets you at the entrance. We chart naps, she explains crisply, where they happen, how deep they go, and what lives near them. The map room is vast. Walls stretch forever, covered in glowing topographic charts shaped like pillow piles. Each map pulses with heat signatures, warm for safe dreams, cold for nightmares, and blinking red for active disturbances. You peer at one labeled Tommy, age 8. It looks peaceful. Little blue ridges of cuddly toy mountains, a puddle of imagination shaped like a pancake. But on the lower edge, just at the border, something twitches. What is that? You ask. The librarian narrows her eyes. That is a static puddle. Shouldn't be there. Static puddles are bad news. They are areas in dreams where memory can't form, where emotions flatten, and if left untreated, they spread. Butternut glides in wearing a headlamp and a cape that reads, Certified Nap Scout, ready to dive. He grins. You nod. The team prepares. Diving into a nap zone requires a very specific toolkit. Marshmallow parachutes, echo goggles, and a snack with emotional significance. You bring a cookie your sister once gave you when you cried watching Finding Nemo. The dive begins. You land inside Tommy's dream with a gentle bounce. It is cozy, warm, quiet, too quiet. The teddy bear camp is abandoned. The candy river runs sluggish. The air smells like expired crayons. Then you see it. The puddle. Gray. Still. Sizzling faintly at the edges like soda left out too long. Dot arrives beside you, typing into a floating console. No signal echoes. No imagination waves. This nap is dry. You step closer. The puddle ripples back, and something stands up. It looks like Tommy's blanket, but it has arms, and it is humming the hold music from his dentist's office. Oh no, Butternut whispers. It is a dread loop. You gulp. A what now? A dread loop. Dot explains. Traps dreamers in repeating thoughts. Boring ones. Mundane ones. The kind that make you feel awake but leave you more tired. Like dreams where you do chores. Like dreams where you wait in line. Like dreams where you brush your teeth for 25 minutes and still feel fuzzy. The blanket being turns toward you. Its eyes are two empty boxes of cereal. You draw your glitter sword. It blinks slowly. Then it speaks in a voice like an automated voicemail system. You will never finish your homework. Your shoes will always feel slightly damp. There will never be enough forks. You recoil. Butternut hands you a kazoo. Play. Now. You do. The kazoo blasts out a melody that sounds like circus music. If it were being chased by bees. The blanket being twitches. Dot tosses a flare. You yell. Tommy's dream is a sandbox, not a cubicle. The world shifts. The candy river brightens. The teddy bears return with marshmallow swords. The sky turns into a trampoline. You leap forward and grab the dread loop. It is cold, heavy, but you whisper something. Do you remember joy? It shakes, flickers, and dissolves. The puddle disappears. Tommy's nap stabilizes. Outside the dream, the librarian removes her glasses and nods. Good work. But there is more. She shows you another map. Hundreds of tiny puddles. Dread loops are spreading. She says, something's flattening dreams before they can bloom. Sir Meowalot joins you, armored as always. It is the architect. Again, he is evolving. You clench your fists. How do we stop him? The calico steps forward. We shift the balance. You look at her. We go bigger, brighter, wilder. We give dreams the power to fight back. Dot looks up from her console. You mean, boost the imagination fields. Exactly. The calico says. Butternut gasps. You are suggesting we launch. The dream carnival. Everyone stares. The what? You ask. The calico smirks. It has been offline for decades. Too unstable. Too silly. Too risky. Sir Meowalot grumbles. The cotton candy cannon alone nearly collapsed a moonbeam corridor. You grin. I say we risk it. And that night, as the team assembles glowing parts and dream engines shaped like Ferris wheels, you feel it. Hope. Big. Bright. Loud. And maybe, just maybe, enough to push back the dark. It begins with a single spark. Not fire. Not lightning. Cotton candy. A swirl of pink and blue mist drifts across the dream skyline, then unrolls itself into a full-blown banner. The dream carnival returns, for one night only. You stand at the gates. Beside you, the calico wears a ringmaster's hat 2 sizes too large. Sir Meowalot adjusts his armor. Now adorned with blinking lights, Butternut is juggling churros. Terribly. Dot hovers nearby with a clipboard and far too many checklists. This is insane. She mutters. That is the point, says the calico. The architects pushing order. So we push chaos. Joyful chaos. Because in the world of dreams, fun is rebellion. Wonder is resistance. And a single hot air balloon shaped like a slice of pizza can undo hours of fear. Conditioning. You push open the gates. Welcome to the dream carnival. Giant teacups spin through the clouds. A roller coaster made of licorice dips into a tunnel of spontaneous giggles. There is a petting zoo of imaginary creatures. Fire-breathing kittens, polka-dotted giraffes, and one very sarcastic platypus. Children's dreams begin to tune in. From across the globe, sleepwalkers and snorers alike subconsciously drift into the carnival. Joy levels spike. But it is not just for fun. Every ride, every booth, every sprinkle-covered pretzel is a strategic node, built to amplify imagination and disrupt nightmare frequencies. Your job, run the Hall of Maybes. It is a tent that shifts shape with every visitor. You step inside, and the walls whisper, what if? What if the floor became jelly? It does. What if your shadow told knock-knock jokes? It does. What if you had wings made of spaghetti, surprisingly aerodynamic? You watch as dreamers laugh, play, invent, and with each chuckle, each gasp of delight, the architect's grip weakens. But then, a tremor. The air stiffens. The cotton candy begins to shrink. The lights flicker. You race outside. A crack opens in the sky. Something massive descends. Not fast, not loud, just certain, geometric, symmetrical, terrifying in its tidiness. The architect, it floats. No face, just a cube of light. Every angle perfect, every edge humming with control. You have deviated, it says. Sir Meowalot steps forward, sword drawn. But the architect does not attack. It reorders. The roller coaster straightens into a monorail. The Ferris wheel becomes a flowchart. The petting zoo animals morph into identical gray sheep with ID badges. No. Dot breathes. It is rationalizing the dream. The calico yells. Countermeasure protocol. Full absurdity. Butternut runs to the center stage, grabs a mic, and begins. Interpretive jazz yodeling. It works. The architect pauses. Trembles. The flowchart glitches. You run to the Hall of Maybes and ask the biggest maybe of all. What if everything did not have to make sense? The tent erupts. Elephants in tutus cartwheel across the clouds. Books grow legs and tap dance. A volcano erupts glitter. The architect buckles. You cannot. Glitch. Sustain. Logic error. Banana boat. Sir Meowalot charges. But you stop him. You step forward. And whisper. You do not have to control everything. The cube flickers. Let the dream be messy. You say. Let the wonder in. Pauses. Then cracks. Light spills out. From inside, a single crumpled paper airplane flutters down. On it, a child's drawing. A house. A dog. A sun with sunglasses. And 3 words. Let me dream. The architect dissolves. Quietly. Peacefully. The lights return. The rides regain their color. The sky stitches itself back together with thread made of stardust. Later, you sit with Butternut on the steps of the Hall of Maybes, sharing a bowl of invisible spaghetti. We won, he says, mouth full of nothing. For now, you reply. The calico joins you, removes her hat. You reminded the dreamers what freedom feels like, she says, and that is the strongest beacon of all. Dot grins. Still want to build a second Hall of Maybes. With more trampolines. You smile and look up. The stars wink back. Not in pattern. Not in order. Just wonderfully. Dawn is different in the dream realm. It does not rise. It uncurls, like a cat stretching after the world's best nap. Sunlight spills slowly into the sky. Warm, golden, and slightly scented with cinnamon toast. The dream carnival is packing up, dissolving ride by ride like cotton candy under curious tongues. You stand on the hilltop, watching it fade. The Hall of Maybes collapses into a giggle. The roller coaster folds itself into a paper crane. And Butternut, half asleep, half chew, lets out a satisfied sigh. That, he mumbles, was unreasonably reasonable. Dot joins you, scrolling through her Dreamstream tracker. Global metrics confirm a 43% increase in wild creativity. Also, someone in Finland dreamed of a violin that doubles as a jetpack. Perfect. The calico says behind you. We have tilted the balance back toward wonder. Sir Meowalot approaches, tail high, armor dusted with powdered sugar. But this victory will not hold forever. Dreams are fluid. So are nightmares. You nod. So we keep dreaming. The team returns to Council HQ. But something's changed. The chamber glows warmer. The scrolls hum softly. The echo maps pulse with curiosity. Not fear. A new assignment lands on your desk. Literally. Parachutes in via folded napkin. Signed in glitter ink. Mission. The bell collar heist. You blink. Wait, didn't we already find the bell collar? Dot reads over your shoulder. That is not the same one. This is the original. The calico steps forward. the collar worn by Whiskerella the Wise, said to contain the first purr to ever sync with a dreamer's heartbeat. Butternut gasps. That is practically sacred. Sir Meowalot growls. It was lost during the Scratching Post riots of 1844. Historians still argue whether that uprising was about food dish placement or the betrayal of the Great Squeaky Mouse Treaty. Either way, the collar vanished. Until now, according to whispers, and one very talkative goldfish, the collar resides in a locked vault beneath the dream archives, guarded, trapped, and rumored to be cursed with excessive politeness. You assemble the team, Butternut, Whisperpaw, and a new recruit, Madame Pawdora, a Persian with a monocle and a lock-picking tail. The vault is beneath a hallway labeled Archives of Imaginary Friends Who Got Jobs. You tiptoe past former Tea Party guests now filing tax reports. A sock puppet gives you a suspicious nod. The vault door stands before you, tall, gold, embossed with "Do not disturb unless you have snacks." Inserts a memory key. The door hisses. Inside, darkness. You step forward. Lights flicker on. Slowly, the collar floats in a stasis field, suspended above a velvet pillow. Then, click, the floor drops out. You all fall and land in a waiting room. There is a number machine, a flickering TV playing reruns of forgotten dreams, a receptionist shaped like a toaster. Welcome, beeps, to the Bureau of Unauthorized Retrieval. You gulp. We triggered a defense mechanism. Butternut pushes a button labeled "Just Browsing." An alarm blares. A voice shouts, "Intruder protocol. Emotional reckoning." Walls fall away, and you find yourself in a corridor of mirrors. Each one shows a different version of you. You as a younger child, scared, silent, you pretending not to care, you turning away when someone needed comfort. Dot appears beside you, touching your arm. "This is the collar's test," she says. "It only allows retrieval to those who accept their flaws." You take a breath and step forward. "I have failed." You whisper. "I have ignored friends, laughed at the wrong time. I have stayed quiet when I should have spoken up. But I also came back. I tried." The mirrors shimmer. Then one breaks. Inside, a small room, and the collar. You approach. It glows. Warm, soothing, familiar. You lift it gently. It hums in your hand. Purr. The first purr. The room fades. You are back in the council chamber. The collar rests in its rightful place now. On a pillow stitched from childhood hopes and mourning, cuddles Sir Meowalot bows. The circle is restored. The calico meets your gaze. You pass the test. Butternut nudges your side. "Did it say anything?" The collar. You nod. Purred. Because sometimes, the truest approval does not come in words, comes in warmth. And tonight, your dreams will be guarded by that ancient sound. The sound of purring follows you. Not just one cat, not even a dozen. All of them, from every corner of the dream realm, across rooftops and quiet nurseries and secret garden alcoves. The cats are purring in harmony, a slow, deep, thunder-soft hum that buzzes gently against the spine of reality. You stand at the center of the council chamber. The bell collar sits on its pedestal, glowing faintly, its warmth vibrating in waves. Dot types something into her tablet, then blinks. This is not just a purr. She whispers. It is broadcasting across the entire dream field, like a song. You step closer. You can feel it, not just hear it. It is syncing with the pulses of dreamers around the world. A low, healing frequency. Babies stir. Old folks smile in their sleep. A teenager hugs a plush toy they have not touched in years. Sir Meowalot steps beside you. "We have restored the original resonance." You blink. "That is a thing." He nods solemnly. "Before nightmares, before whispers, before the first bedtime story, there was this, the frequency of comfort, the reminder that someone, or something, was watching over you." You listen closer. Inside the purr is a word. Safe. Dot's tablet beeps. "That is new." She turns the screen toward you. Nightmare levels. dropping rapidly. Dream vibrance, peaking. Shadow entities, retreating. Butternut floats in on a helium balloon labeled Celebratory Cheese Patrol. I brought snacks. You smile. You should be celebrating. But then, the purring stops. All at once. A silence so sudden it hurts. The collar dims. Dot gasps. Something interrupted the field. The calico closes her eyes. It is too soon. We needed more time. You whisper, what happened? Sir Meowalot points at the dream map. Look, you look, and see a blinking dot. Not red, not yellow, black, pulsing, steady. A signal, not a warning. Place, not a presence. Dot reads the coordinates. It is, oh no, she looks up. It is the Puppeteer's attic. The name alone makes the room go still. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. You would heard whispers of it before. A place that does not appear on any known dream route. A room above all others. Filled with memories that refuse to rest. The calico speaks softly. The puppeteer weaves false dreams. Marionette thoughts. Illusions so powerful they trick the dreamer into believing it is real. Even after waking, you shudder. What does he want? To rewrite. Dot adds. The original resonance disrupted his web, so now he will fight back. Butternut whispers. We need to cut the strings. You are already heading for the exit. Butternut and Dot follow. Sir Meowalot tosses you a blade. Not your glitter sword. This one is simple. Silver. Honest. Its hilt wrapped in ribbon from a child's birthday present. Its edge engraved with a single word. Truth. You nod. Because dreams can be built on fantasy. But they must be defended by truth. The way to the attic is not a ladder. It is a climb through memories. You crawl through vents made of bedtime stories. Squeeze past forgotten lullabies. Swim across a lake of dream tears. At last, a trapdoor. Whisperpaw is waiting. She nods once, opens it, and vanishes into shadow. You step through, and into a room that stretches forever. Strings hang from the ceiling like vines. They move with no breeze. Each one attached to someone, a dreamer, floating gently, eyes closed, smiling. But something's wrong. Their smiles are too wide. Their movements, too synchronized. You see children reading the same book in unison. Teenagers watching identical sunsets. Adults dancing the same slow waltz under a copied moon. Dot chokes. He is puppeting their dreams, making them identical, safe, sterile, empty. Butternut growls. We end this. You push forward, and then you see him, the puppeteer, a tall, faceless figure in a tattered theater cloak. Strings pour from his fingers, anchoring to every puppet dreamer in the room. He tilts his head. No face, no mouth, but somehow, he speaks. Originality is chaos. Dreams must be curated. You raise the sword. He lifts a hand. Your strings tighten. You look up. They are attached to you. You try to move. Can't. You try to speak. Muffled. He is controlling you. And then a whisper. From your chest. The bell collar. Still tucked inside your jacket. Pulses. Once. Then again. You breathe. Remember your own dreams. Not the best ones. The messy ones. That time you dreamed of going to school in slippers and still acing the test. The one where you were lost in a library full of flying tacos and Shakespeare on stilts. The one where your sister hugged you and said, "We will be okay." You grab those dreams and yank. The strings snap. 1, 2, oh. The sword glows, and you charge. The charge is silent. You do not scream. You do not roar. You do not make a heroic speech. You just run. Because dreams do not need noise to make impact. The puppeteer does not flinch. He merely lifts his hand again, summoning more strings, an entire storm of them. They whip through the air like lightning bolts made of ribbon, each one trying to tangle around your memories. One grazes your shoulder. You feel it. Your third birthday blurs. The cake, the balloons, your sister laughing as you tried to eat a candle. It all fuzzes. You grit your teeth. Not this time. You leap. The The bell collar glows beneath your shirt. The purr surges from deep inside your chest, not as a sound, but as a feeling, warm, centered, steady. The sword flashes. You swing. The blade does not slice the puppeteer, cuts his control. The strings snap mid-air, fraying into beams of starlight. Dot fires a pulse from her console, a burst of raw imagination, glitter dragons, rubber duck parades, a cheeseburger that tells bedtime stories. The illusions the puppeteer built flicker violently. Butternut rolls beneath the floating dreamers, gently catching them as they descend. I have got them. Keep pushing. The puppeteer twitches, staggers. He reaches toward you, and finally, he speaks, not in words, in fears. What if your dreams do not matter? What if your stories are not enough? What if no one remembers you after they wake? You falter, just for a second, because those thoughts, they are real. They have sat beside you during quiet nights. They have whispered in your ears when you hesitated to share your ideas. They have grown in the corners of your heart like dust bunnies made of doubt. But then you remember, the child who dreamed of flying with broccoli wings, and laughed, the teacher who told you your stories had weight, your sister, who still keeps the frog plushie you gave her when she had the flu. You speak now. Even the smallest dream can change someone. The bell collar bursts into golden light, the hum of all dreams, a resonance that echoes through the attic. The dreamers wake, not in panic, but in peace. The strings fall. The attic begins to crumble, walls turning to feathers, floorboards unraveling into ribbon. The puppeteer lets out one last whisper. I only wanted order. You step closer. I know, but dreams are not meant to be neat. They are meant to move. You touch his hand and gently cut his last string. He vanishes, not violently, not in shame, just fades, free. The attic collapses. You fall, but land safely. In your bed. Morning. Sunlight trickles through the blinds. Your room smells like pancakes. You sit up. The bell collar is gone, but your pillow is warm. And your dream still lingers. On the windowsill, a note. Report to Council HQ. Your next mission awaits. Bring socks, the calico, and beside it, your glitter sword, polished, resting on top of a folded napkin that smells faintly of cinnamon and courage. It is not every day you wake up and find a sword on your windowsill, but you do not question it. Not anymore. You grab the napkin note, your socks, mismatched on purpose, and head back into the dream realm the only way you know how, through the second pillow on the left, tucked behind your oldest plushie, and just past the corner where your imagination tends to hide. You arrive at Council HQ to find it unusually tense, not panicked, not chaotic, but tight, like the world just exhaled and forgot how to breathe back in. Dot meets you at the front gates. You made it. Good. She is already halfway through a conversation with a raccoon carrying a briefcase labeled emergency nonsense. The calico appears from the shadows. He is back. You blink. The puppeteer. No, she says. Something else. Sir Meowalot steps forward. He is wearing his heavy armor today, the kind with extra buttons that do not actually do anything but look very serious. The feathered one. He growls. Dot pulls up a projection. Parrot. Rainbow feathers. Eyes sharp enough to slice a jelly bean in half. Name. Pico. Alias. The Feathered Betrayal. Occupation. Former dream courier. Current saboteur. Butternut slides in wearing 2 pairs of sunglasses. He used to deliver bedtime stories, until he started editing them. You frown. Editing. Dot nods. Removing the joy, the wonder, replacing it with rules, quotas, product placements. Sir Meowalot slams a paw on the table. Last week, a child in Guatemala dreamed of dragons. When they woke up, it had turned into a tax seminar about dragon licensing. You shudder. That is evil. The calico sighs. He is targeting creative cores, rewriting source dreams. You are assigned a recon team. Butternut, Whisperpaw, and you. Your mission. Infiltrate Pico's nest, recover the stolen dreams, and find out what he is planning. You take the cloud tram to the northern edge of the dream realm. It is colder here, crisp. Ideas crystallize as they float. Every thought leaves a trail. You reach the nest, not a bird's nest, a tower, spiraling, built from abandoned crayons, broken headphones, and rejection letters. Whisperpaw leads the way. No sound, not even a crunch from the letter marked. Your story does not quite fit our magazine at this time. Inside, it is worse. The halls are lined with dream shells. Once beautiful dreams, now hollow. You peek into one. A girl once dreamed of being a pirate queen. Now she files reports on cargo efficiency. Another dreamed of painting stars. Now he sorts glitter into jars labeled too bold and not marketable. Dot gasps. They are beige. Butternut faints dramatically. I can't. Too much neutral palette. At the center of it all, Pico, perched on a golden perch, reading a script. Plot twist too risky. He mutters. Emotional arc too indulgent. Joy is a liability. You step forward. Pico. He turns. Smiles. The sword sleeper. The chaos enthusiast. Here to ruin my harmony. You raise your chin. I am here to return wonder. He shrugs. Wonder is inefficient. It meanders. It doubles back. It does not convert. You step closer. It matters. He tosses the script. I used to believe that, he says. Then the architect showed me. Structure. Your heart drops. You are working with him. I am finishing what he started. Dot pulls out a small orb. It glows. Pico flinches. What is that? You whisper. A memory grenade, she says. We crafted it from the 3 most chaotic dreams of the week. What are they? Butternut grins. A boy who dreamed he was a popsicle riding a velociraptor. A cat that became president of the moon. And a grandma who sneezed so hard. She invented time travel. You nod. Dot lobs the orb. It lands. Explodes in a swirl of color and noise and nonsense. The tower shakes. Pico screeches. The walls bend, leaking giggles. The beige melts. The pirate queen reclaims her sword. The star painter grabs a brush and hurls it like a comet. You grab Pico's script and add one line. Then everything went gloriously off book. The tower splits. Light pours out. Dreams return to their source. Pico tries to fly away, but Whisperpaw catches him midair with a single tail flick. Back at HQ, Pico is placed under whimsy re-education. He will spend the next few weeks in the Hall of Maybes, sorting through unexpected plot twists and choosing his own adventure. With supervision, you sit beside the calico on the balcony. She sighs. You keep pulling us back from the brink. You sip your dream cocoa, only because you let me. Sir Meowalot clears his throat behind you. What should we call this victory? Butternut holds up a chuo. The great parrot plot pop. Dot grins. The feathered flip. You smile. No. You point to the stars above. Call it. The night dreams one again. Tonight is quiet. Not silent. Not empty. But quiet. The kind that feels earned. No dream alarms. No emergency tail signals. No rogue parrot edits or puppeteer strings. Just moonlight. Just purring. Just peace. You sit beneath the great dream tree. Its branches stretch across the entire sky, stitched with threads of sleep, glowing softly in hues only dreamers can see. The leaves shimmer when someone giggles in their sleep. The roots pulse with lullabies forgotten but never lost. Beside you, the calico curls up, tail wrapped neatly over her paws. She is sleeping well, she says, eyes half-lidded. You nod. Your sister's dreams have stabilized. No more flickers, no more shadows, just stars. Dot floats nearby, piloting a mini airship shaped like a rubber duck. She waves. Butternut waves harder. He is holding a funnel cake the size of a frisbee and arguing with a talking mushroom about ownership rights. Sir Meowalot meditates in the grass, one eye open, sword across his lap. Alert, but at ease. You take a breath. The kind that fills your chest with the scent of storybooks and night air. You think about everything. The whisper breaches, the mimicry, the puppeteer, the bell collar, the parrot, all of it. You think about how close the dream realm came to unraveling. How fragile imagination can be. How precious. You look up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a child dreams of riding a train made of toast. Somewhere else, a baby laughs at a dancing spoon. And someone, maybe older, maybe weary, finally lets go of their day, trusting the dark to hold them. And you helped. You really helped. The calico speaks again. Voice a whisper. You were more than we hoped for. You turn. I was just a dreamer. She smiles. Exactly. You close your eyes. The bell collar glows quietly at your side. It does not purr anymore. It does not need to. You have become the resonance now. You lie back in the grass and let it all drift. The tree above you hums. The wind carries laughter. The stars blink slowly, like they are getting sleepy too. And somewhere, just on the edge of waking, you hear a familiar voice. We will keep watch. You dream now, and you do. You dream not of war or worry, but of socks that never get lost, of pancakes that tell jokes, of a warm lap, a steady purr, and the softest night you have ever known. And when the dawn comes, real or not, comes gently, like a tail flick, like a yawn, like a whisper, and you know the truth now. Dreams are not just stories, they are shields. And you are part of the council. Always have been, always will be. So now, we slow. Let the images fade. Let the cotton candy rides and the floating book halls and the whispery staircases of the dream realm settle quietly behind your thoughts. There is no need to chase them. They will be there again. You have walked rooftops with guardians, whispered spells into stars. You have fought nightmares not with fists, but with memories, and giggles, and courage that does not roar. And the dream world, however strange, however sprawling, it is not gone. It lives inside you, in the way you smile before falling asleep, in the warmth of your favorite blanket, in the curl of a cat's tail, in the beat of a bedtime story told again and again. So breathe, deeply now. Feel the purr still echoing in your chest. You are safe. You are held. You are part of something ancient and soft and quietly brave. Let the rhythm of your breath become the background hum. Let your muscles soften. Let your mind drift. You have protected enough for one night. Now, it is time to let go. Let the sleep take over. Let the dream return. And if a cat happens to curl beside your head, maybe, just maybe, it is on patrol, keeping watch, just for you.